Hello everybody and welcome back to another Wizard101 video. Today I decided that I was going to do the life of the school series. Now, this is a problem because we're coming up on the final school, which is Ice, and I have no idea what to talk about for Ice. So you better hope that I figure something out, because if I don't, we're gonna end up just not having an Ice video, and all you Ice wizards will be all sad. And that's okay, you know, it's okay to be sad. So hopefully we can develop beyond that and, potentially I figure something out. But until then, let's just get into the life video, because this school I really want to talk about. Life has been an interesting school for me for a very long time. It's been on my radar as a school that I've never necessarily played, because generally when I play MMOs or just play RPGs in general, the healer is not the first role that comes to mind for me. Usually I am more on the damage or support side than actually full healer, but that doesn't mean life didn't interest me. Life was definitely a prospect, and as time went on and I stopped enjoying being a hitting school more and more, life became that much more appealing, and I tried it out, and I found a few interesting things. And what I want to talk about this video is life is crazy. I'm just gonna say it right here. Life is crazy. It's probably the craziest school in this game, especially mid-game. Arc 2, life is a beast. And really that's what I want to go over today and kind of emphasize is life's crazy versatility. So let's get into it. What do I mean when I say life is crazy? Well, it stemmed from something I noticed when my friend quested up his life. Something I noticed is that life for Waterworks gear has the third highest damaging Waterworks gear out of all the Waterworks gears. You'd expect it would be something like Fire, maybe Myth would take that spot, but no, it is Life. It goes Storm, Death, Life, and Life is only behind Death by like 3% damage. Now, I've always found that interesting because Life has never really struck me as a school that needed to have a lot of damage. And that was the first sign that something was up. This trend continued along those lines with the Malastare gear. For the Malastare gear, Life also has the third highest damage, technically tied for second with Balance. I know it's strange to find out that Balance has the second highest damage on Malastare gear, but don't mind that. The point is that Life's damage is a little bit scary. Then you factor in a pet and, Ring and Athame. Life can have some insane damage throughout this game. Like, for example, right now I'm only in the level 50s and I already have 60 damage. Once I get Waterworks gear, I'm probably going to shoot up past 100, and Malastare gear is going to take me up into the 120, 130 range, which is really, really crazy. And I can't really stress that enough. Life has this strange little feature just kind of given to it where they have a lot of damage. Now, why this is important and why this is something I want to emphasize is this adds a whole new layer to Life. When you look at Life, you just see a healer at first. You see a character that can heal people and heal them well. Well, there's also the fact that Life can do quite a bit of damage when it needs to. And what I find is this is especially helpful in is soloing. Life has the ability to heal themselves if necessary, have decently strong base damage on spells, which, by the way, they do, their base spells do have quite a bit of damage. I mean, look at Forest Lord, 620 to 680, that's like 200 base damage higher than Frost Giant. So realistically, they aren't lacking for base damage either. So base damage on top of that damage, Life is plenty fine when it comes to that regard and versatility in of itself. And that as a whole got me interested in Life and the soloing potential of it. I genuinely think now, after doing a little bit of Life and examining it further, I think Life has the potential to be one of the best soloing schools in this game, if only just because of the versatility they have. And this is actually similar to Death. If you remember in my Death video, my main argument for Death is that Death is a jack of all trades. A jack of all trades is someone who's incredibly versatile and can adapt to many situations. I think Life actually fits this role pretty well, and in some cases even better, because Death can't necessarily heal people to the extent that Life can. And that brings us to the second section of this video that I want to talk about, is Life has amazing spells, and so many amazing and probably underrated spells, to be completely honest. The first thing I want to note, and something that's super important to note, I think, is that Life's Healing Per Pip is insane when you compare it to damage per pip. Now, why is this something that needs to be brought to attention? Well, obviously there is damage per pip, and that's how this entire game is based around, is KingsIsle wants to base spells around their damage per pip, and they want to give it in kind of an average, and that is what the major spell audit back in the day was. I said back in the day like it wasn't 2 years ago, but the major spell audit that was 2 years ago, that's what it was doing, is it was rebalancing the spells based on damage per pip. Now, why this is relevant at all is the fact that life's healing per pip is crazy. I mean, just look at Satyr. Satyr that's like 215 healing per pip. That is really, really crazy. And that's not to mention you have Dryad, which does 225 healing per pip, up to an okay, I was about to say an infinite amount, a 14 pip cap, which at base is a solid in the 2000 range of healing, not to mention incoming and outgoing. So life has an incredible heal per pip, and I am very surprised KingsIsle hasn't nerfed this yet. Life's healing is honestly so strong that I would consider it to be almost broken, especially if you have a dedicated healer. You will never die. And while I don't think it necessarily should be nerfed into the ground, I'd definitely say it's a bit unbalanced and should be reduced a little bit, at least into the hundreds of healing per pip for a lot of these spells rather than the 200s. Another thing I want to talk about is actually their crafted spells, which I know you may be thinking, no, you don't really get these easily, and that wouldn't make it super viable for a lot of newer players. Yes, but that doesn't mean I should discount it. At earliest, you could get Pigsie and Rat Spin, which are the two spells I'm talking about, at Lore Master at level 35 to 40. So realistically, you can get them decently early on. Now, what are these two spells that I'm talking about? Well, first off, there is Rat Spin. Rat Spin is Life's 4 pip AoE, the Meteor Strike of Life, if you will. And the reason why I want to point this out and want to stress this is Rat Spin has the highest base damage out of any 4 pip AoE, and this can be upgraded even further, and that's insane. Life having the highest base damage on an AoE at 4 pips, then you factor in the fact that they also have an incredible amount of damage as established earlier on their gear. Already it's looking to be a crazy amount of damage. Now obviously upgrading this is difficult, and I'm not going to say it's not. In fact, I doubt there is more than a handful of people that have a tier 5 Rat Spin, but it's important to at least note that this is a possibility, and even at base it has a higher base damage than most 4 pip AoEs by a decent margin. And then even further than that is Pigsie. Pigsie is Life's 4 pip AoE for healing. It's basically Unicorn, but stronger. This spell is also really crazy because it is 550 healing for 4 pips. Realistically, it's an insane heal. It's a simple and easy spell that Life has that can heal a team massively. And I think a lot of people underestimate just how much 4 pips is. 4 pips is 2 rounds. That's barely anything in a grand scheme of a battle. And in regard to outgoing healing and incoming healing and whatnot, Life can do so much with that one spell, and realistically those spells alone make Life incredibly powerful. Now, does it take time to get them? Do you have to go out of your way to get them? Yes. But does that mean I shouldn't actually discuss them in this video? Not at all. In fact, it makes it more prevalent to discuss them because these spells make Life a little bit crazy, not gonna lie. The final thing that I want to talk about this video, and what I really want to stress, is that I think Life has something. Life has accessibility, and this is something that I can't say every school in this game has. Storm is not a very accessible school, especially to less experienced players. You can't just pick up Storm and go, boom, I'm at the end of the game now. Well, okay, yes you can, but it takes time, and it definitely takes a lot of effort, and if you don't know what you're doing, it can be a struggle. And this is true for a lot of other schools, especially things like Ice, Myth, Balance. These schools you all will definitely struggle with when it comes to beginners experience. While I didn't mention Fire and Death is definitely the major exception to this, I think Fire definitely also could suffer from that. Life is something unique. It's something special, and that is the fact that I think it could be picked up by just about any new player and be understood to the point where you can at least be helpful in just about any major battle, whether it be just because you spam heals or you manage to do a little bit of damage. Either way, life has that accessibility. And I know that I've said that Death is the best soloing character, and that doesn't change that. In fact, I would still say that they are the best soloing character, but Life I would actually put right behind them. Life is incredibly easy to get used to and has a high enough skill ceiling that you can definitely master them without it feeling bland and boring, which is something that I think is important for most schools and definitely makes Life fun, is that you can master Life and you can play it how you want because Life is so versatile. So that's it for today. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I know some people might. Some people who, you know, view school roles as set in stone might disagree with what I've said, but you can't change the facts. Life does have a really high damage for some reason, and on top of that, their spells have a high base damage as well, and even further than that, their healing spells have an insane heal per pip. So no matter what, I don't think people can disagree with me and say that Life isn't a really, really good school. And today I just wanted to go a step further than that and say that Life is one of the most versatile schools in Wizard101. So that is it for today. Again, let me know what you think, but thank you all for watching. I will see you in the next video. Adios.